7 Pro Bowls, 19 years in the NFL, 40 years old, playing all 17 games last season without missing one. There's a name circulating in Chicago media right now that has the exact profile to solve the biggest crisis this team has heading into Week 1. ESPN already said it straight. The Bears left the 2026 draft unhappy with the defensive linemen in this class. The interior line has no identity. Dayo Odeyingbo is recovering from a torn Achilles, and Dennis Allen's pass rush is sitting near the bottom of the league. That ends today. But polls did not stop there. While Chicago debated whether Cole Kmet had his days numbered, the GM shut it down with one statement, and Chad Reuter of NFL.com just put 6 Bears UDFAs among the best available, including Omari Kelly, a receiver Ben Johnson does not know is about to surprise him. Bear down. If you trust the Ryan Poles process, hit that like and subscribe to join the real Bear Nation. This is just getting started. All right, let's get straight to it. Last year, Chicago's defensive line was, let's say, underwhelming, and that's being kind. They gave up 5.0 yards per carry to opposing offenses, 29th in the entire league, 29th. In a division where you got to stop the run against some of the toughest teams in football, that is not a problem, fam. That is a full-blown crisis. And the pass rush was just as ugly. Quick pressures near the bottom of the rankings. Pass rush win rate scraping the floor. If Ben Johnson is going to build something real with Caleb Williams, Dennis Allen has got to put fear in opposing quarterbacks' eyes, period. Now, that Poles went to the draft. He made smart picks in a lot of spots, but on the defensive interior, he basically walked in and walked out without making noise. Jordan Vandenberg, 6th round, pick 213, acquired by flipping 2 7th-rounders. He's an all-ACC selection, solid technically, 10 tackles for loss in 2025, but nobody's going to tell you with a straight face that this is the guy who flips the pass rush. Look, I could be wrong, but ESPN said something nobody can ignore. The Bears, quote, were not enamored with this year's crop of defensive linemen and chose to prioritize other positions. They said it. Not me. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with one name circulating in every Bears beat reporter conversation right now. A name that does not need an introduction. Calais Campbell, 19 years in this league. 40 years old, 7 Pro Bowl selections, and last year for the Arizona Cardinals, he started all 17 games, didn't miss one, 6.5 sacks, 16 quarterback hits, 9 tackles for loss. 33 quarterback pressures. Pro Football Focus ranked him the 16th best interior defender out of 134 qualified players at age 39. Bro, that is not normal. That is absurd. The market projects him at just under $11 million on a 1-year deal per spot rack. Real value, reasonable price, no long-term commitment for a franchise trying to win now without mortgaging the future. That contract makes perfect sense, and the Bears have the space. Tactically, what Campbell brings to Dennis Allen's defense is massive. He's the type of player who draws double teams and frees up Montez Sweat to win one-on-one matchups off the edge. He gives this defensive front an identity it simply does not have right now. Look at how this line is assembled. Sweat is there. Austin Booker has potential, but Dayo Odeyingbo tore his Achilles midway through last season and might not be ready for Week 1. Shamar Turner, 2nd-round pick from 2025, has to take a massive leap as a defensive end for the math to work. And on the interior, beyond Gallimore, Street, and Lynch, all depth contracts, there is a real impact vacuum. Beat reporters are also throwing out names on the edge: Jadeveon Clowney, Cameron Jordan, and Joey Bosa, all 3 available on short-term deals, all 3 hungry to keep competing. But here's what I'll tell you. If you are Ryan Poles, if you look at the NFC North schedule and see what is coming, you cannot enter this season with this defensive line as currently constructed. The front needs an upgrade. The options are there. The question is not whether the Bears can improve the line. The question is how long they are going to wait to do it. Okay, fam, because during the draft, there was a whole narrative building that Cole Kmet's days in Chicago were numbered. And honestly, I get it. The Bears took Sam Roush out of Stanford in the 3rd round, pick 69, with Colston Loveland and Kmet already on the roster, 3 tight ends with high draft pedigree. The questions were fair, but Ryan Poles came out on April 24th and he was direct. Quote, nothing changes for Cole. Our feelings for Cole don't change. We're top 5 in 12 and 13 personnel. Cole is locked in. Even contract-wise, he's locked in. We view him highly. And that's that. But there's also a financial reality here that made the whole trade Kmet narrative hollow from the start. Before the draft, the Bears restructured his deal, converting $7.65 million of his salary into a bonus. That dropped his cap hit from $11.6 million down to about $7.77 million for 2026. The catch? If they cut or trade him now, they save only $2.35 million in cap space and absorb $5.42 million in dead cap over each of the next 2 seasons. The math simply does not work. So what is Roush then? Right now, he is the number 3 tight end, and he has a clear role. Block. Former rugby player, 6'6", 267 pounds. Wide tight end profile, physical and tough. Ben Johnson runs 12 and 13 personnel at a high rate, and last year his number 3 option, Durham Smythe, earned a 53.2 run blocking grade from PFF. That is not good enough for this system. Roush comes in to fix that. Can he eventually push for the number 2 spot? Sure, if he cleans up his pass catching. He dropped a career-high 7 balls at Stanford last season. That cannot happen in the NFL. But with a room this deep, Loveland as the top weapon, Kmet as the trusted veteran, and Roush developing behind them, the Bears have the best tight end room in the NFC North. And to close things out, something people are sleeping on, right after the draft, the Bears move fast on undrafted free agents, and Chad Reuter at NFL.com put 6 Chicago signings on his list of the top UDFAs available. 6. That is not a coincidence. That is a front office that knows how to work when the lights go off and the cameras move on. One of those names is wide receiver Omari Kelly out of Michigan State. Kelly bounced through Auburn and Middle Tennessee before landing with the Spartans, and at Middle Tennessee he exploded. 53 receptions, 869 yards, 4 touchdowns. In his only year with Michigan State, 47 catches, 626 yards, plus 6 carries, plus 20 punt returns over 2 seasons, including a score. Career average of 15.2 yards per catch. Why does this matter for the Bears? Because behind Rome Odunze and Luther Burden, the depth of that receiver room is a real question mark. DJ Moore is gone. Rookies like Xavier Thomas and Squirrel White came in, but none of them have locked up a roster spot. Kelly brings speed, versatility, and returnability, which is exactly the kind of thing Ben Johnson values when he is building out the back end of a 53-man roster. And the Bears' top UDFA signing per Reuter is Caden Barnett, a guard out of Wyoming who goes by the nickname Vanilla Gorilla. 6'5", 320 pounds, 3-year starter who kicked inside from right tackle to right guard. That speaks directly to Poles' philosophy: upgrade the offensive line at every available wave. Fam, the draft itself was a win, and the post-draft work is confirming that this front office doesn't stop. The draft is done, but the Bears' offseason isn't finished. Calais Campbell, Jadavion Clowney, Cameron Jordan, Joey Bosa, all still available. The defensive line needs at least one more upgrade before training camp opens at Halas Hall, and Ryan Poles, who already proved he knows how to move in this market, has the cap space to do it right. The foundation is there. Caleb Williams has weapons. Ben Johnson has a system, and Dennis Allen needs bodies on that defensive front. The next move is his. If this got you as fired up as it got me, drop a like right now, Andres, and tell me down in the comments. Do you sign Calais Campbell for 2026? Yes or no? Let's talk about it. Bear down.